I wonder if they could see us before.
That'd be funny.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Hey, how y'all doing, brothers and sisters?
Peace, family. Peace, peace.
And we're just asking a question, like, when you get ready to get on, like, you have to add yourself to the stream. And I'm like, I wonder if they can see us, before we before we go live. Oh man, this thing is, my computer is tripping right now. It says that nobody is watching right now. It's really weird.
It'll catch on to work.
But Shabbat Shalom, y'all. Hope y'all have had a good week. Hope you've had a good day. I look forward to hearing from y'all and just come together. I wish we had like a plate of food or something. Come together over some food and like. So what you been up to? But as for now, this will suffice, right?
Yeah, this is our gathering.
So. Can you? Okay, yes. You can hear us. Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay. So first, a couple of things. I want to give some shout outs.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So first of all, shout out to Sister Essential Growth. Hopefully, you are in the building. Sister Essential Growth has been working on some art pieces for us for the music and for for YouTube and everything like that. And so she is so amazing. Like, she is so talented. There's so much talent in our nation. Like, it's amazing to see, right? And so peace and blessings to Sister Essential Growth. The avatars that you guys just saw, that was from her. So shalom to you, sister. Hey, sister.
Yes, hey, there she is. All right, cool. But yeah, and there'll be more to come as far as other artworks that we'll be featuring from her as soon as I hone in on completing some music. It's been a little bit hectic with school and work, but I definitely want to make sure I finish up these projects so we can all have a shared exposure in our talents. I think it's really good how we mesh together, as a people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brother Oral, how's it going, man? It's going good, man.
So B-Mac. So my name is Brandy McAfee, right? And so a lot of times I go by B-Mac. I'm working on like my chef name, right? So I think it might be Chef B-Mac, or it might be, I don't know what it's going, but I need something cool. You know what I mean? So, but
and there's a good chance that we could be changing the name of the channel.
Oh yeah, we're gonna change. We're gonna change the name of the channel
just so it can be, I guess more comprehensive as far as the purpose of the channel. As the purpose of the channel opens up to us,
right?
We're having we're steadily getting revelations about what this channel is really meant for, and yeah. So
and so shout out to Essential Growth, and then also shout out to Brother Devion. We are wearing his shirts right now. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see your hoodie. Get in there. Oh, yeah. So shout out to Chef Mac and Cheese. No, that's too much. Yes. So we got these, and then he got a hat too, and it's really awesome.
It's upstairs.
It's really awesome. And so so shout out to Brother Devion for the fire gear. Check him out on his stuff is on Facebook. That's how we got to it. He has a website, and it's Yehudi, right? YAHOODIE. So check him out. We will support you. If you have art, if you have clothing, whatever the case, we want to support our brothers and sisters. So we will rock your stuff because we're a nation, we're a family. You know what I mean? And so we're gonna rock it for you. We're gonna represent for you. So
I'm tired of wearing clothes, made by people that don't like us.
Yeah, exactly. And I see. Yeah, back to Matt. Hey, Ruhama. Peace and blessings, Ruhama, sister.
Shalom.
Yeah. So actually, Mainland Man, I do spit a little bit. So it's not that I think that I'm a rapper. I don't call myself a rapper. I flow, but yeah, appreciate it. So, but anyways, peace and blessings to everybody in the building right now. Thank you for coming. Love all of y'all, and we're gonna go ahead and open it. You want to open it up, or is there anything that you would like to touch on before we open it up? Shalom, Sister Charmin.
I think we should talk about, what happened today with these banks.
Oh, with the banks, what don't you don't want
to? There has been a couple instances just today where I don't know if y'all have heard. Didn't we see it on the Tail Ministries page?
Facebook, yeah, I have it.
Page.
I have it.
So there's a good chance that some of you have seen actually how certain banks, or a bank on the West Coast, what is that? The Salt Lake Bank. I don't remember.
No, it's Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That bank in that area, people with accounts with that bank were not able to access their funds. Do you have that article up?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I can pull that up real quick.
Yeah.
So let's do that. And peace and blessings to you, Brother Eric. Peace and blessings to you, Brother Orr, Brother Dave. Everybody in the building. I'm going to go ahead and share this really quickly so that you guys can see, because we have two instances here. So, all right, let's go here. So yeah, we'll go to that one first.
It's breaking news.
That's the breaking news. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, Silicon Valley Bank is the 18th largest bank in the United States, and we woke up this morning with news that, hey, there could be a bank problem, and Janet Yellen said, hey, there could be issues with this bank, and
don't worry.
Yeah, but don't worry, because we have our eye on it. So Grandma Yellen says that we have our eye on the bank and not to worry. And then 1 hour later,
closed.
That's
a really nice eye. When your grandma comes out and goes, "Don't worry, everything's fine. Your life's about to end." Like, just,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, need to say when your lights went out. So,
I buy cheap stuff.
Okay.
I'm the economic ninja.
So sorry about that. Anyways, the bank went down for the count today, guys. And this is devastating because I'll give you guys a little bit of a background. Before I had the production company and doing YouTube, I produced medical and startup conferences in the med tech and biotech space. One of the largest banks that I dealt with over and over and over again was Silicon Valley Bank. And they were a huge player in the biotech and startup space for a myriad of reasons. And whenever you have a startup, the first thing everybody thinks they need is money, clearly. But the one thing that Silicon Valley Bank is they were a brilliant liaison to getting things done. And what I mean by that is, let's say you had something that you were going to manufacture a product in the biotech space or the medical space. They had people in all these different aspects of that industry that would vet these companies and would help you get access to capital. These people were huge in daily funding and lines of credit, company cash flow.
Yeah. Silly apps.
All this stuff. And it's absolutely devastating because this is going to destroy so many other industries in short order.
Yeah, before you jump into why it's going to do it, let's run through the FDIC's alerts. Okay, check this out. This started, these were updating this morning about 11:35 Eastern time. They came out. FDIC, SVB Bank closed by California regulator. Then the next one, FDIC, SVB Bank is first insured institution to fail this year.
In 2023.
That's right. And I love how they use the word first because there's many more coming. FDIC creates a deposit insurance national bank of Santa Clara. There's a reason for this. Then it says FDIC named Federal Deposit Insurance FDIC as receiver. So we already have a receiver named. And then FDIC creates a Deposit Insurance National Bank of Santa Clara. You want to know why? Because not all of those accounts are insured by FDIC.
It's a huge problem. And what you're going to see is that the FDIC, in 2008, when everything basically happened, the last time they went and had the insurance amount of $100,000, and they went and raised that to $250,000. And the problem with it is that not everybody's going to be covered by this insurance.
That's right. Check this out. It says here, all insured depositors will have full access to their insured deposits no later than Monday morning, March 13th. So as of right now, anybody in that bank has zero.
Closed. You don't have access to your credit cards. You don't have access to the accounts. They had branches throughout the western part of the United States, and you can't get your access to any money right now.
You got a special phone call from a subscriber.
Now, I have a subscriber that works for a startup company that I can't say the industry that they're in, but this guy was one of the largest startups in the United States. They were voted as one of the best places to work for in the startup community. And he woke up this morning to no paycheck. And he started calling around, and everybody said, hey, we're not getting a check. You're not getting a check. Don't worry, it'll be resolved by lunchtime. And then he gets another phone call. Don't worry, it'll be resolved by the end of the day. And now you find out that the FDIC has seized the bank and seized Silicon Valley Bank. And think about this. This is
okay. So we're gonna stop sharing that. All right, guys. I know that went a bit long, but I wanted you to hear the fact that they woke up to no check. They woke up and they don't have access to their money, right? And if your funds are insured, right, then you can get access to it on Monday. And Shabbat Shalom, Teo Ministries, Shabbat Shalom. And so you essentially, they talk about how one day we're going to wake up and we're not going to have access to our money, right? And they would say, well, it's most likely going to happen on a Friday. Well, today is Friday, right? And then we had another situation here where same day, same situation, right? Wells Fargo had an issue. And we're going to show that really quickly, right? So it says here, I'm going to hit this. It says Wells Fargo glitch shows negative balances, missing direct deposits, right? It says, sorry about that. A problem with the Wells Fargo banking system has customers wondering what happened to their money. Okay. Let's see. We're going to keep going here. Oops. That'll be a better way to do this. Okay. It says the issue started to crop up on Thursday, according to social media posts, with users saying that recent deposits that had been in their accounts had disappeared.
Recent deposits.
Yes, recent deposits, or that ones that were supposed to have come in did not. The missing money then caused balances to be different than what they were expecting to see, right? And all they could do is say, we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused, right? If you see incorrect balances or missing transactions, it may be due to a technical issue, and we apologize. Your accounts continue to be secure, and we're working quickly on a resolution. How is your account secure if you're waking up to no money? Okay. And so what is going on with? Oh, okay. Okay, and so the issue, according to Wells Fargo, was a technical glitch, but the company didn't say what happened exactly, only that the accounts are safe and secure, okay? And so the point that we're making is, so we have this issue with the Silicon Valley Bank, right? And then we turn around, and Wells Fargo, on the same day, it started yesterday, and they're dealing with it today. On the same day, they're having issues, what they're calling technical issues with their accounts. People missing money, people not having the correct amount of money in their banks. And so, what's really going on? So
we actually, at all times have to be, when these articles and when these media outlets say one thing. As far as a cause of a situation, we literally have to believe the opposite, So if they say it's a technical glitch, we have to have that kind of suspicion to say, well, at the same time as another on the same day as another major bank making funds unavailable to their clients. We've been through this before. When things start happening at the same time, we know that though this is just 2 instances, sometimes that's all it takes for us to stick our nose up and be like, okay, what's actually happening. And we know what's happening. What's happening is the financial collapse of the United States that's been steadily happening, for quite a while now. As this country borrows more than it can pay, to the Federal Reserve. This has just been a controlled demolition for some decades. So yes, it's the financial collapse of the United States, and it's going to start steadily, and then it's going to accelerate. But we see things like this happening right before our eyes.
And I got a question. What did we do after we read that article?
It's like, babe, you need to go to the bank right now and get some cash out.
Right.
And
he did.
Shalom, cry loud, Israel. And I did. I mean,
went right to the bank.
And we could act off of what we see. There's many moving parts in the destruction of this nation and in our exodus. So, we do what we can. Hey, if people are talking about their, they can't access their money. Well, I would like to probably, I'd probably like to go get a couple of dollars out, just so I have some, in the instance that an EMP doesn't happen and that we can actually, somebody with a cash register can actually open it.
Right. Because I tell you what, it get crazy out here. Look, I'm gonna do the righteous thing. I'm gonna leave the money on the table, but I'm gonna take what I need and I'll leave the money on the table. You can't take the cash right now.
Go up to customer service.
Look, here you go.
It's $400.
Right. Here you go. I ain't gonna steal it from you, but it'll
take
be there.
This, and when y'all can open up your register,
right there you go.
Gonna be over. So
right. But peace and blessings to everybody coming in the building. Shabbat shalom, y'all. We're getting ready to open this up. Look, y'all, let me tell you something. I don't know if I know some of us are friends on Facebook, right? But y'all, I woke up today. I was on one today, for real. Like, I don't know. I get, I tell y'all that I get welled up inside and I this fire starts burning in my belly. And DJ calls it shadow boxing. I told y'all, because I'll be pacing around just talking mess, boy. It's righteous, you know what I mean? I'm making righteous points. I just feel like I want to fight, what So y'all, I had to look. I was on fire earlier. So I drank some chamomile and I took a nap. Y'all, I had to put myself to sleep. I said, you know what? I'm about to go to sleep because I feel like I'm about to box or something. But I'm gonna go ahead and pin this up there. All right. And so DJ knows when I get in that mode, he told me the other day, he be like, I feel like I did something.
And another thing.
Right.
Who they think they is.
Right. And so I had to calm down because I get fired up. But
as we should be getting fired up.
Yeah. But
naps.
I'm gonna go ahead and anybody that wants to come on, please come on. You are more than welcome, first timer or not. Shabbat shalom, brother Oral. Shabbat shalom, brother Yakoba.
Hey, fam.
Hey,
Shabbat
how you
shalom to both of you. Hey, brother Yakoba. Always a pleasure to chat with you. See you.
What's up, Oral? How's it going?
Going okay, man.
So, brother Yakoba, have you know that we had vegetable stir fry tonight?
Yeah.
It was good too.
DJ don't look too happy.
No. I got.
So, Brandy, how comes you don't tell me to? Because I'm vegan, so how comes you didn't tell me?
You are.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. We were talking to brother Yakoba, trying to get some pointers on how to transition into either vegetarian, or vegan, or because I'm just Me personally, I'm freaked out by like the things that Babylon has to offer to eat. DJ's freaked out, and we're like, we can't eat this stuff because they're. I mean, we know they're poisoning us, but with them coming out and saying that they're going to be injecting meat with mRNA stuff, and it's like we can't. We got to back up. So, yeah, that's so.
I see.
Well, they got an in-house. They got an in-house chef. They got it made.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what, Brother Jacoba, tonight, after I made that stir fry, I was eating. I was like, "This is good." I was like, "Is it good?" He was like, "Yeah, it's good." And he stopped for a second, and I was like, "What's wrong?" He said, "It's spicy." I was like,
I love spicy. I gotta tell you.
Is it salty? No, it's not too salty. It was a little spicy. I was like, I was a second from getting up and having to blow my nose.
Shabbat shalom, Brother Dave. How you doing today?
Dave.
Good evening, people. How you doing, DJ?
Good, man. Good to see you.
You too, brother.
Oh man, same old. Taking care of business. As we got to do right now in Babylon. Whatever it takes.
Yeah. So yeah, injecting meat. So yes, they've been injecting meat with hormones and with vaccines and stuff. You ever see like especially in our neighborhoods, right? I don't know where you all live, but like we have Save-A-Lots like near us, right?
It's like a cheaper grocery store.
And they put them in our neighborhoods, right? And then the meat, like especially the chicken, like the chicken thighs, like the leg quarters are like huge, right? And you could tell like it's abnormal. It's scary looking, right? It's because they're injecting it with growth hormones, right? I actually learned about this my first weeks in school. We had to go over chickens, right? The history of the chicken and everything like that. And they inject them to make them big, right?
Yeah,
they're supposed to be small. Right. And so and then now they're coming out, how you see how bold they are to come out and say, well, yeah, we're going to inject them with this mRNA, stuff, and we're going to give it to you. And I was thinking about how, when they were giving people the injection, how they would say we have to keep it cold, right? We got to keep it cold and at a certain temperature. And then when even frozen, right? They had it where it was in some type of, it was some like sort of frozen and they had to thaw it for a couple of hours. And then they had to use it within a couple of hours. Well, I was thinking you inject it into cold meat, right? When you're cold meat, you get your cold meat, you might freeze it or whatever. And then when you go to thaw it out, when it sits on your counter, you're getting ready to use it. It's still cold. Now, I know you cook it, right? But clearly it still works. Like it has some effect when you eat it, even though it's cooked, but it's alive in that meat that's sitting there, that cold meat. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like another means to preserve it, like they did when they had that initial rollout of the jab. They said, okay, we could only keep it in negative 32.
Yeah, I forgot what temperature it was.
30, or not negative 32, but 32 degrees or something. Like at the point of freezing, it was a colder temperature. Yeah,
I can't remember the exact temperature.
Anyway, meat is suspicious in this country. Bottom line is it's suspicious. It's more than suspicious. And the very fact that we don't really know what we're eating, has pushed us in a direction to try to go a more much cleaner route, as far as what we eat. So we had a really good discussion, with Minister Jacoba about it, and just some pointers.
Yeah. So how long have you been vegan, Brother Oral?
I've been vegetarian for many years, and I've been pescatarian for many years, and I would do fish every now and again. And then last year, I was like, I saw the difference with my body when I did fish and when I didn't do fish, like, because when I run in the mornings, and then I see my energy level, it keeps going up. So I notice I have more energy when I don't. So a year ago, I just said, you know what? I really don't need to do fish anymore. So I just cut it out. So it's been a full-fledged, it's been a year. But as far as milk and dairy, it's been years since I stopped eating that stuff.
Okay. And we were thinking about going the pescatarian route too. It's just, you got to watch out because there's not a lot of, like where we live in Michigan, we don't live by the coast, so we don't get, salt water fish, fish right out the sea, and so a lot of the fish out that's sold out here is the the farm raised, but like Mr. Jacob was saying, you can order salmon and stuff from other places, and they'll ship it to you, and so that is an idea. So it's just weird. We're trying to uncomplicate a complicated situation, right?
It can be complicated, because when I was in Germany, and it's like I was quite surprised that, because the Germans are really big on health. They run, even though it's freezing cold, they're running and biking, but they love their meats, man. They eat a lot of meat. So I had to resort. My cousin kept making me pasta, because they had nothing for me there really, which I was surprised. When I went to Amsterdam actually, they had a lot of vegan. They had vegan menus in the restaurant.
Right. Okay.
But honestly, it's like the most I'll do is like I'll resort to some French fries or something like that if I'm out with some folks and there's nothing to eat. I'll just eat some French fries or something like that. But that's to my extent. Or either I'll just go without. It's for me, and this is just my personal walk. It's like I just discipline myself enough where if it's nothing there, I'm not gonna compromise and say, oh, let me just grab it for now. Because even my sister's like, aren't you gonna at least try some of the cheese? Because I the funny thing is I love cheese. I just don't eat it. So my sister was asking me, because Amsterdam, they had like these traditional like way of making cheese. So I brought some for one of my sister, but I did not try it. I just refused to go back. And it was mainly because of health. And then I changed. And now that I know what I know, I definitely won't go back. But the main reason I decided to go this route is because my mom had a whole bunch of heart attacks, and she's 82 years old. And even she changed her diet. Because now my mom is vegan, so yeah, and I see the difference in her health even at her age. So it doesn't matter when you start; it's just a matter of starting.
Right on. That's encouraging. That's encouraging.
Yeah, because we're trying to get it together here.
Right. Peace and blessings, Sister Shonda. How you doing, sister?
How you doing, sister?
Blessings, family. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. Happy to have you here. That's what's up.
Hey, listen, I've been waiting for you to come on for a couple hours now, actually.
No,
really?
That's what's up. I have.
That's what's up.
Blessings, Brother Oral. Blessings, Brother Jacoba and Brother Dave. Good to see y'all.
How you doing, sister?
I'm good.
How you doing?
I'm good. Interesting convo. I'll throw my 2 cents in if I can real quick.
Of course.
All right. So I've been both vegetarian and vegan.
Okay.
And I will say that I'm neither now.
Okay.
And the reason for that, it's a little bit. My best friend, by the way, she's like a diehard vegan. She got me into veganism a couple years ago, but it's for my body type. Now, I don't feel that anybody who wants to go that route is doing the wrong thing. I think it's great to eat as clean as you possibly can. In this perverted system, in terms of a diet, everything is corrupt, even down to the organic fruits. But for me, my body shape, my body type, because my metabolism is so fast. When I was vegetarian and I was vegan, I actually ended up losing an unhealthy amount of weight. Right, okay. So I'm 6'1", and I can get down to about 120 pounds. Which is like skin and bones.
Right.
So, which gave me heart issues, and what I end up having to do was to introduce meat back into my diet slowly. When I put my children on a vegan diet, they actually ended up all of them getting very extremely sick.
Okay.
I did not know what was going on, why they were getting sick, because I felt like we were eating very clean. And what ended up happening was that their immune systems are still developing, right? So they needed to be able to have at least 2 or 3 portions of meat per week, because once I put them back on meat, all of their sickness went away.
Wow.
I think that what we have to be very careful about is body types. We have to make sure that we're doing what's best for our bodies, because what's best for one person's body isn't necessarily best for the other person's body. Some people have glucose, gluten-free glucose issues. They have issues with milk, and most of us as melanated people, as Israelites, we can't drink cow's milk, right? So I just can't do it. So.
You can't either.
I'm with the almond milk. I'm with the oat.
Right. Yep. And that's what we have in our refrigerator. We have almond milk in the refrigerator, and the children like it. You know, they don't mind it. And
right.
So, yeah.
Just kind of do, in my opinion, you have to do what is best for your body type, because if if you're like me and you have an extremely fast metabolism and you go vegan, you go vegetarian, listen, if you're trying to lose weight now, that's a perfect diet to go on.
Right. Okay. Yep. Okay.
I'm literally trying to build muscle right now. So I do it a couple of times a week in terms of eating meat, but as far as health goes, man, let me tell you, my husband and I, we're big on on smoothies, and we'll put everything in our smoothies. I'm talking, kale and all the greens that we can find, and just try to get as much vegetables there as we can. But more important than all of it, pray over your food. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
You got that right.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, sister.
No, I'll just say that's my 2 cents.
I appreciate that, because that gives me another perspective. That gives us another perspective, because it's just, man. But at the same time, I felt like it complicated it even more. You know what I mean? Like,
Sister Shonda,
it's good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Sister Shonda, that was more than 2 cents.
But it's like I mentioned when we talked, it's trial and error.
Right.
As Sister Shonda said, you got to find out what works for you.
Right.
And some people do need a little meat. We eat too much meat.
Yes.
But at the same time, you got to try to find out where your meat is coming from. Try to get as close to pasture raised and all that type stuff, and get your wild caught salmon if you're gonna stay on the meat. But like for me, I went paleo for a while, and I was just eating meat and veggies, and I still got sick again. And that was the second time, and it was like every time I ate meat, for some reason, I got sick, and come to find out it's something with my thyroid. Mm-hmm. And so then when I would go vegan and start juicing, I would get better. So, it may be age related with me. Things start changing and stuff, but my philosophy is figure it out as you go. You're gonna go up and down and figure out what works best for you.
Right. And you have to have the patience to do that, because a lot of times we want quick fixes, and I'm guilty. I just want to, figure it out right now and do it. But it is trial and error. So, like you're saying, and like Sister Ashana saying, whatever works for you, what works for your body type, how, you got to figure it out. And so I have to, calm down and walk it out, figure it out, test the waters.
Mr. Brandy, another thing you should do, like, as I mentioned, what I did is I saw the difference and I felt the difference. And so you got to know your body and see and feel the subtle differences when you eat fish. Like for me, when I ate fish versus when I didn't eat fish. Because like I said, the meat thing, that I cut out a long time ago. It's been probably maybe 10 years or more since I stopped eating meat. But it's like you have to know your body type, and you do need to like observe how you feel after you eat the food, how long it takes before you get hungry again, and all these different things. Because Sister Shonda is right, because I'm tall too. I'm 6'3.5". But one of the reasons why I didn't go vegan for many years is because people kept telling me, since I'm a big guy, I'm probably going to be weak. And so I was afraid to go without meat. And then when I finally took the leap of faith and I did it, I was like, man, I felt the difference. Because it's like, even like certain times when I'm moving and I'm doing some, like I was playing basketball like last year, and I hadn't played in like 6 years, and I had so much energy. The only drawback is I didn't stretch, so I paid for it later on, because
you felt it.
I'm not as young as I used to be, but other than that, my lungs and my energy level was like through the roof. So it depends. It does depend on your body type, and you do have to kind of like go through trial and error.
Right. Yeah. I just got a juicer and started juicing about a week ago, and I tried a couple of things, and I think like I was telling you, Minister Yacob, I think I went too hard like the first day, because like the juices that I drank, like I felt like when I drank them, it was like my eyesight got real like clear and like,
Yeah, you feel like a burst of energy when you
right.
do.
And I
When
was
you
like,
do
am I
something.
supposed to feel like this? Am I
Yes, you do.
okay?
You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it almost instantly.
Right. And I'm like, okay, did I do too much? So,
I think you did.
but he thinks I did.
That day,
But,
4 servings.
right, I did. I drank. I was like, I want it
Well,
all.
usually I
I
do
want
about
it all.
two. I usually do about 2 a day. So
Okay,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
four
when
might be a little too much.
when you first starting out, you got to be careful of that detox.
Yeah.
Okay.
After a
Yeah.
while, your body get used to it. You could come back and forth, but in the beginning, you'll detox and you'll be like,
Yes.
head be spinning. And stuff.
Right. Okay. But I want to say Shabbat Shalom to Brother Quante. How you doing? Oh, we can't
You might
can't
wanna,
hear you.
I'm not sure if you need to unmute yourself.
No, he's unmuted.
He's unmuted.
I still can't hear you,
Quante.
brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Hey,
Shalom,
how you
shalom.
doing?
How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I'm happy to be here, you know?
That's
Right
what's
on,
up.
right on.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Right. How was your day? I'll ask people how their day was. I'm serious. How you doing today?
I appreciate it. Actually, my day's been blessed, man. I've been off my job for about 3 weeks now, so I'm home homeschooling my son, and I'm just like, I'm hearing from the Father. Excited about this big move that we're all gonna make.
Right.
Just locked and loaded, man, and connecting with the brothers and sisters, throughout the earth. It's just not in America, but throughout the earth. We got this internet, so we try to make the best of it.
Right.
As Daniel said, knowledge will increase in the last day. He didn't know what an internet would be or a computer. He didn't know how it was going to increase. He just spoke the words, of the Most High. So now that we're living in that hour, we know how is that possible. So
Right.
the day has just been great.
Right on. It's good to hear. We were. I don't know if you just came on, but we were talking about how, and whoever has just come in the building, but we're talking about how the banks are having issues today, Silicon Valley Bank, and then also Wells Fargo, where people are not able to access their money, right? And so we went ahead and we had pulled some stuff out before, but we went ahead and pulled a little bit extra because, okay, so we're going from, we went from, there's been so much happening, but we went from balloons and unidentified objects to derailments that are still happening, right, to this day, right? And then now we're going into the banks, not being able to access your money, and that has happened a little sprinkle here or there, but 2 in 1 day, and so it's just, to me, it is mighty I don't want to say convenient, but convenient timing in the fact that we're having such a buildup right around, I always say, right around our New Year, right around our Passover. You understand what I'm saying? And so when I see these things, I get excited. I don't want people to be without. We never want people to be without, or, waters to be contaminated or anything like that. But like I always say, it denotes, our coming out of here, right? It denotes our exodus, so I'm pretty excited. I don't things don't move me. Things don't make me go like, oh, I'm afraid. I'm like, oh, okay, let's go.
It's like we're in a weird place, because I don't celebrate any kind of catastrophes.
Mm-hmm.
But these are signs. These are signs pointing toward, our exodus out of here. So I can't help but get maybe just
right.
A little bit anxious. I want out. Just like most of us do.
Hey, brother DJ and Brandy, I don't know how the sky looks up by you guys, but I got to tell you, I'm here in Florida, and today I went outside and I looked in the sky, and it looked like it was a lot of cloud, but it just looks different. I'm telling you, something is going on in the atmosphere. They're doing something to this atmosphere because it looks different. And because the way it looked, I thought it was gonna pour rain.
Okay.
So I checked to see if it was gonna be any rain. The next couple of days, it's been dry as a dog's bone down here in Florida. We haven't had rain in a couple. It's probably been about 2 weeks now since we had any rain. It's like you'll see like some dew on the cars in the morning or something like that, but the sky just looks weird. And when I looked up, I just kept thinking, this is not right. Something is going on. and all these different things. And have you guys heard about now China finally brokered a deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia?
That's huge. Also, the fact
Yes.
that China and Iran is going is going to be supplying Russia with weapons. So they've positioned. There's not just talk now. They have positioned themselves in saying, "Okay, we're back. We're physically backing them." Right.
So BRICS is in full swing right now, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so it all ties in the fact that the banks are starting to have little hiccups here and there. It's all tying in because, let's face it, the dollar is on life support. It's already dead. It's just on life support. The machine's what's keeping it breathing.
Yep, absolutely. And oh, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know, they go back to the table as far as passing the new budget in June, before they can default on the loan, U.S. loans, or however that works. So you know, the father has, because I'm ready to book a flight to Ghana or South Africa somewhere, because I understand that once it's crashed, the little money that, you know, individuals have now is going to be nothing. It's going to be just paper, you know. So I've been, you know, seeking the father and when to go, and I almost feel like I got the permission to go, like, now, in a sense, to just to secure some assets outside of the U.S., or, you know, however that will play out in the future. But it's definitely things are definitely heating up.
Yeah, my brother was talking about trying to go at least to the continent, maybe June or July, to try to find some places, because, you know, like with these whole 15-minute cities, you know, they're really pushing that. And I personally think the 15-minute cities is the prerequisite for martial law. That's going to be sort of the new excuse for lockdowns, the climate change, but it's going to be because they're at war with Russia. And some general named Orban stated that NATO is going, and he's a NATO ally of, he's the president of Hungary, and they were saying that NATO is going to go into Ukraine, and so once that happened, you know, everything going to just kick off. Yeah.
You know, I saw someone posted a video. I'm talking about how, and it was a Gentile, and he was speaking on how there's no way that the United States could be invaded because of the mountains, and because people are hunters, and you won't be able to deal with the hunters. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is that arrogancy, and that whoever posted that they pointed out the arrogancy, but this is that, you know, I sit as a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow, right? That mentality of you are untouchable because you have hunters. You can't stand against 1.5 billion Chinese reserve. That's being called up, you know, if you are 18 or older and you are your war age, right? 1.5 billion, right? Just in China alone. And then you got Russia. Now you got Iran, and China back in Russia. There is a delusion, you know, with the Western world, that they can't be touched. You know, they can't have a finger laid on them because you have citizens with weapons. When those people come through and they're standing toe to toe with you, your weapon will be useless. You won't have the guts to pull the trigger because you're going to be terrified.
Sister Brandy, what's going to happen is the Most High is going to give them a sense of fear. And so they're going to tuck tail and run, because that's biblical.
Yep.
So they can have all the weapons, but if the Most High put this fear in your heart, you're not going to be able to use the weapon, even though it's right in your hand.
Oh, absolutely.
So apparently Russia had the number one military in Europe, and Ukraine had the number two military in Europe, and Ukraine has got their butt waxed. Right.
Exactly.
And so when you look at what's happening to them, now remember, Ukraine was trained by NATO. And so a lot of the NATO guys don't know anything about real warfare, but the Russians do. Right. And so I could see where they're going to get scared. And then let's not forget, Russia got those submarines off the U.S. coast.
Sure do.
And Iran has their battle cruiser over there by Brazil. Something's about to go down.
Yeah, it's it's so strange because you think that people would be flipping out. It's like having a burglar stand outside in your front yard. He has a mask on, he's holding a gun, and he's just staring at your front door, and you're staring at him through the window, but you're going, oh, he'll never actually try to get in. You know what I mean? It's a delusion. You know what I mean? Like he's outside of your house. He's going
in addition to that, Randy, in addition to that, I'm going to add to that what's happening with that burglar outside staring in at you. What they do now is they're distracting you with something else. So like the distraction of the derailment, the distraction of the balloon, the distraction of like UFOs. And so while the burglar's out there, you have one eye on him, but then something caught your eye on the television. So you turn away to look at what's going on with all these other distractions. And the burglar's inching closer and closer to your door. And that's what's going on.
Yep. I absolutely agree with that.
Spot on.
Yeah, and with the distractions, though it may be distractions, they're actually doing damage with these derailments because you got diesel getting in the water. You got these chemicals that cause cancer and cause cell mutations and cause all these issues. That will once it gets into your system, you're good as done. You know what I mean? But they are distracting, but they are strategic with their distractions. Meaning, like it is touching the people. But all praises to the Most High that we have His promises. We know what's up. We know what's going down. We know what He's going to do. We know that we knew this was going to happen. We knew this had to get here. We knew, you know what I mean. We weren't going to just wake up one day and just everything would be normal like 2018, 17, and we were just going to wake up one day and walk out of here. It had to crack, pop, you know what I mean? Get to this point. Once it hits that climax, then that's when we exit, you know what I mean? So,
Minister Yacoba.
I saw this real quick. I saw this article just 2 days ago about how the women in Ukraine are responding to everything that's going on around them. They are flooding the doctor's office to get what's that thing called again? Where you get your face chopped up so you can. I still got baby brain, y'all. But they're getting their face.
Are you talking about plastic surgery?
Plastic surgery, yes. They're getting plastic surgery like crazy in Ukraine right now. The women, because they don't want. It's like they're so far removed from the whole situation of war mentally that they decided they want to just be beautiful. So they're going to get plastic surgery. They did a whole article about this.
That is so strange. That's real strange.
Yeah.
That's that. Yeah, that's wow. That kind of blows my mind. So, but
they want to look good for their captivity.
They're putting
Cognitive dissidence. Cognitive dissidence, ladies and gentlemen.
That's I got a mental picture. I think in mental pictures.
Yeah, big lips and big cheekbones. That the artificial.
Right. I got a picture. Like putting on. We were just talking about the burglar outside the house. You see the burglar sitting outside. You're like, hold on, let me put my makeup on real quick. You look cute.
Right. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's strange. That's so strange, man.
Minister Yacoba, do you remember? So you're as old as I am. Do you remember in the 80s? I think it was the 80s that they had a lot of train derailments in the 80s.
No, I don't remember that.
I remember in the 80s, and I remember that it was one like they had back-to-back train derailments in the 80s, and I was wondering then what the heck is going on, and they had all these derailments.
I think I was too sheltered back then. I wasn't even paying attention.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Worried about his toys and playing, man.
Oh my goodness!
It was crazy when I was thinking about it, and I just had a flashback, and I was just wondering anybody in out there remembers, because I remember thinking like, because we just kept having a catastrophe after another catastrophe, and I was like, wait a minute, why did I get the feeling of deja vu? And back in the 80s, we had multiple train crashes.
And what came of that? What ended up being
But that's why I couldn't remember what came of it. I just know it was a lot of train crashes, and I never understood why. Does anybody out there remember that?
I think
in the chat.
Cookie's Creations.
Oh, okay. Somebody said
baby, so I don't remember.
Well, Miss Cookie says she remember it.
Yeah.
And Sharice read it. She said, he said, I remember too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see how he didn't even ask me if I remember.
Oh no, that's because you're younger than me, and I'm only 35.
How you know?
I was born in '87. It probably happened before I was born.
Oh man,
You're such a baby.
Yeah.
don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Don't feel like it at all.
All the babies in the house. I'm 81.
You said,
oh no.
you said what? Oh, what'd you say, sister?
81.
That's right.
Oh, 81. Okay. Okay. That's not too far off. That's not too far.
I think you're my brother's age. You're 6 years younger than me. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you're still a baby. Yep.
Oh,
Brandy,
yeah.
4.
Well, y'all a bunch of babies. All y'all babies out here.
I was gonna now expose myself. Look, I was born in 89.
Oh, wow. Last.
Y'all are babies.
Look,
My toys in 89, man.
I'm a child.
Yeah,
I'm a
beneath the
child.
surface. Beneath the surface.
Okay.
91.
Okay, we got somebody in here younger than us. Okay. We got 91 in here. Okay.
91 isn't younger than us. No.
Who's 91?
Yeah, 91.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
91?
86. Okay. All right.
Well, that means we're in good company.
Yeah. I tell you what, we have never had. I tell you what, out of all the people that I call friends, we have one friend that's younger than us, but everyone that we've always been friends with has been at least, maybe
10,
close to 10 years older than
older
us.
Yeah.
And I think that's because of our mentality, how we think and how
y'all seem a bit mature.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Just a little bit, Hey, man, we're growing on a daily basis.
Right. The children, of course, your children always think that you're old,
Right. And they make us feel old.
Right.
Their ages
They
one.
always have jokes and stuff like that. It's like I kind of want my daughter to forget my birthday because she's like, oh my gosh, and she just think that it's so old.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, we used to have landline phones, right? So we can go back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Landline phones, and you remember CD players? And
we had that. I used to have my.
I remember typewriters.
Yeah.
I had a typewriter in my house.
What y'all don't know about 8-tracks though?
No, see, you done lost us now.
Well, no,
No, you done lost. But I do remember when cell phones first came out, when it became like a popular thing.
Yeah, we went from car phones to
and I remember I had my little CD player and my headphones,
But my dad had all the tech.
I had the boom box.
He had all the earliest tech. He had the first DVD player, which was like huge. He had the first, the big back TVs, that was probably as, like wide as they were long in the back, He was a tech guy, so I do remember some of the earlier stuff.
And TVs with the picture tubes in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandy, DJ, the people like Oba, Dave, and even Ashonda for a certain degree, we've actually come and seen the transition where you go from beepers that actually can alert the cell phones that look like a big brick, the flip phones, the cell phones. We've actually seen the involvement of the technology, and when I look back, I'm like, oh my goodness! From rotary phones where you miss a dial, you got to start all over again. It used to be doing the finger rolling around, and you miss one digit. You got to hang up and start the whole process.
Yup,
right.
Right.
Oh man, I ain't calling nobody.
The rotary phone.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody.
Hey, listen, the internet back in the day, because I used to be a CBers. I used to have a CB, and I had a group that we had like 30, 40 guys on a channel. So back in the day, CB was the internet.
Okay.
So I got my jobs through CB radios and talking to guys on different channels, and that's how I used to do my networking.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't.
I thought dial-up used to be.
I thought dial-up too.
Dial-up was annoying can be, man.
But we had the patience for it back then. I used
You
to
didn't
say,
have a choice.
you know,
Yeah,
now I get antsy. You know, we get if it don't come up right when we push the button. You know, but
I take it off and do it again if it don't come up right away.
right. We don't have patience anymore, right? But real quick, I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to General War Man. How you doing, brother? How was your day? What's going on?
I'm good. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, y'all forgot about the sky pages. Yeah, I don't know if y'all even remember that. It was
my big brother had one.
Okay.
And my dad had one.
I just mentioned the pager, but I call it a beeper. You know, we call it a beeper. Then
Nah, the beeper was different. That was just the number where you put the numbers a certain way. The sky pager was a message.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. But I mentioned it.
Oh, man, I don't know nothing about that. I'm ashamed to say I don't really know how a beeper works. You know what I mean?
The sky pager gives you like a message across the beeper, and you see what it is, and they give you a number and say, "Call me back at such and such a time, or meet me in such and such a place." And so it gives you an entire message.
Hold up. Y'all don't remember the collect calls when you said your message before the call went through?
Right.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember a commercial.
Yeah.
I remember a commercial where it was like, "Do you accept this call?" And it was like, "Yeah, we had a baby eats a boy."
Eats a boy, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. Yeah.
Y'all remember payphones?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I remember that was popular. I remember when people said, "Oh, be careful," because people are leaving needles in the coin slot, and it might, with A's on it, and you might. Y'all remember that?
They had so many scams with the payphones. They used to get free calls. They used to put a little hole in the corner, put a string on it, drop it in, and pull it back out.
You can get your call in for free. If you did a certain code on the payphones, your calls will go through for free.
Yeah, they started taking the payphone, the little number off of it, because people used to sit there like that was their house phone, wait for a call to come in.
Yeah, in the hood, like in the hood, the guys on the corner, they used to sit there, and that's how they used to do their business.
Y'all remember operator? Still to this day, if I'm on the phone and I get one of them people, what are the computer things? I'm just operator. Like representative.
Right. You used to be able to call, what was it, 411 for information?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. You could find a number.
Emergency breakthrough? You used to get emergency breakthrough on the line?
Yeah, I remember that.
Party lines, I remember that. I
remember the party line too.
Right now. And that's why, you know what? That's why I love Freestyle Friday, because we come together and it's just like sitting around, just just cutting up, like my grandma and them used to say back in the day, cutting up.
It makes you wonder, how did they advance so fast from the pixelated text on a sky pager to smartphones and computers and laptops that we're dealing with today. A period of time.
They have had help from the dark side. That's the only way to progress.
Them fallen angels.
Brother Yacoba, I'll say this and I'll let you chat. What I was going to say is, if you look back and see how long we took to come from battleships and steam trains, steam engines to where we are now, and then in the last, say, 20, 30 years, we just it's like we hit overdrive and we just boosted here so fast.
Yeah, but they even had what we would call high tech back in the early 1900s. Then they took it off because they used to have electric cars and all that stuff, cell phones.
Right?
And then they pulled it off.
You're right about that. That's the old world, the Antiquitech. I think some people have coined it. Free energy and Tesla tech, as people refer to. Prior to the 19th century, or in the 19th century, they had all that stuff, and then I think it was, I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Roosevelt. I forgot what president it was, but basically they shut all that down. To try to make a buck off these electrical lines and stuff. As far as my understanding goes.
Yeah, I heard they couldn't monetize the Tesla tech, so that's why they went to the gas and all that to make money off of it.
Yeah, they couldn't. They couldn't monetize it. But now, now they can, you know, and we're paying for wireless services right now.
Yeah.
While it's
we
killing us.
shouldn't have to, because really you can, all the stuff is actually free, but they found a way to monetize it. I was
Mhm.
reading an article that was very interesting because they said, for instance, the way the bumblebee looks and the way it's shaped, it shouldn't be able to fly. And then this article was saying it's the same technology that the actual planes, big jumbo jets use. They want us to believe that they use jet fuel, but it's only for takeoff. They said it's actually a certain frequency that the jet engine vibrate. And they said, think about this. If it's jet fuel that's fueling the engines, why are they set in front of the wings versus under? Because if it's jet engine and you have the fuel in the actual wings, it would cause an explosion because all that jet fuel will be coming out. But if you ever notice jet engines, like commercial planes, you never see any jet fire coming out of those engines, because they say it's actually technology that vibrates that actually causes the lift and cause it to actually move forward with the thrust. And to me, it makes perfect sense because, I mean, yeah, they always say jet engines, but you never see any jet. Only they say fighter jets, they do use jet fuel. But it said commercial airlines do not use jet fuel, only for takeoff.
Yeah.
Do y'all think that when the Most High gathers us and whether it's in the wilderness or even 1,000-year millennial reign, that a lot of this technology that we've been used to, that it will be kind of like, reemerge?
I think so.
Only way.
I think so.
I believe so. I believe that there are things that how the Most High, and like in the Book of Enoch, there were certain things that were taught that we shouldn't have known. And I think, to me, I think some of those things shouldn't have been taught because we were in a fallen state, right? And when when we're in a fallen state, it's misused, and especially under the instruction of fallen angels. But the Most High, the scriptures talk about how we see things now, but when we're with Him, we will be able to see everything. You know what I mean? So I believe that the Most High is going to make. Yes, I do believe that it's going to be brought back because that energy and that it's clean. You know what I mean? It's there's nothing wrong with it per se. It's just right now with these fallen angels, kind of being amongst us, they're causing people to misuse things, or they want to monetize, and so they take it away altogether. So I do believe, I personally believe. What do you?
I think that as far as the old world technology, they have done a extensive job in destroying the entire infrastructure that the old technology ran on, and we're basically just living on top of it.
Right.
Even literally, we might be literally living on top of old infrastructure
before the mud floods.
Before the mud floods, okay, yes, we're gonna go there. Before the mud floods and whatever caused the mud floods, which is, Brother Dave, I don't know what did. People, say that maybe there was more than one flood. I don't know about that. But all over the world, you have these tilting buildings and stuff like that. In areas and entire towns, there were entire towns that were built to harness certain frequencies under the dome. I don't know exactly. And here's the thing that puzzles me today is that a lot of symbols that we see today, as far as like occult symbols and things like that, a lot of them had to do with the kind of technology that was in the old world.
Okay.
So by all means, the Most High can just flip it and use His own creation the way He wants to, to facilitate any kind of energy He, would think we, because of us, growing up in, a not technologically advanced, but, technologically, accustomed life. I don't know but I'd be more than willing to just go back to, no technology at all, as long as I'm off this, out of this country. But I do think, Sister Ashonda, that there's a possibility that we could be using some of that clean energy.
So for me,
I think we're gonna get to the point where we're actually gonna be able to fly and do a lot of things that we couldn't do, because I remember I've had dreams about flying so many times, and one of the times in my dreams that I was flying, it was so simple, and I was thinking to myself, man, and I knew I was dreaming. So I was saying to myself in a dream, I'm gonna have to remember this when I wake up because it's so simple. And of course, when I woke up, I didn't remember any of it, but
I had the same dream.
See, yeah,
same. Actually, it's a formula. There's a formula for it.
Yeah,
I had the same dream, and I remembered it 1 minute after I woke up, and then it just went right out of my head.
Out of your head, yeah, because it was such a simple thing. It's like you used your mind and you just started levitating, and you were able to fly. And man, I know they say that.
Same thing.
I've had a dream about flying, but there was colors. I don't know. It was colors coming out of us. I remember talking to a brother. His name was Avery. He went to school with me, and he was really sad about. I don't want to say what it was really strange. Like basically, he couldn't have children or something like that. And I told him. I looked at him. I said, "Brother, we're going home, right?" But this was at the time that I believed in a pre-trip rapture, right? So in my mind, I'm having this dream, and there's people. It's like I'm in a room. I'm in a room with a bunch of people, and there's people sitting by a window, and they're just doing their own thing. There's people off. There's people asleep. There's people talking to each other, and everybody's distracted, sleeping something. But in the window, I see a swirl, and it's like the window is like liquid. And then from that, I understood that something was about to happen. And so the guy, his name is Avery. He's sitting like kind of like under a desk because we were like in a classroom or something. I was like. And I told him, I said, brother, we're going home. And so when I walked up to the window and everybody's just kind of doing their own thing in the room, when I walked up to the window, next thing you know, I'm out of the window and I'm flying, but there's colors, just like blues and bright colors coming out of us, out of the people that I'm with. I can't see anyone, but I know there's people with me. And it's by mountains, like we're flying. It's like in my mind, because I believed in pre-trib rapture, I expected to go up, but I didn't go up. I went straight. And I'm flying by mountains, and then I woke up. So I don't know if that was from the Most High or if that was just my mind. I'm not sure, but yeah.
So for me, I think pre-resurrection we'll have technology. I think post-resurrection we won't have technology because the Scripture says we're going to be like Yeshua when we see him. We're going to be like the angels, and they just pop up wherever they are. They want to go. And so I think our existence is going to be somewhat different than it is now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wanted to touch on something really quickly, and I'm glad you're on, Minister Jacob, because like I always say, like I tread lightly because I do believe that the Most High has called me to share and to connect with people, but I tread lightly on teaching because I'm still learning myself and understanding the scriptures myself. And so I never want to be dogmatic unless it's something that I know I could be dogmatic about. But a sister asked, she wanted me to touch on the millennial reign the marriage supper of the Lamb and how it pertains to our second Exodus. Now, in my mind, we go to Revelation 19. We see, and if you could go to Revelation 19, and maybe I could pull that up really quickly. It talks about, here, I'm going to pull that up really quickly. And I'll just keep talking. It talks about how the time of the marriage supper of the Lamb has come. The bride has made herself ready. And then we see Yahusha descend. So in combination with that, in combination with the fact that the Most High says he's going to bring us back, right? He's going to make us all righteous. When we get into our land, we will all be righteous, so on and so forth. So in the sense, to me, it seems like the Most High has brought us back. He's made us that righteous, that nation. And the bride have made herself ready, right? And then he comes and he descends and he's joined to us in the physical, right? And so also with Zechariah talking about how and this is kind of off to the left, but talking about how he comes to defend us, right? And same thing, he sets his feet down on the Mount of Olives, it splits, so on and so forth. We see here, let me go, the destruction happen in Revelation 19, right after he says, the bride hath made herself ready. Now it's time for the marriage supper of the Lamb. And then he descends. So I'm going to share the screen. That's how I see it. DJ, is there anything you would like to add to that, or a different view of that?
Well, I believe the question was about how does the marriage supper of the Lamb relate to our Exodus? And the only thing I could really come up is to express the timing of of when these things happen, and the timing is laid out for us, in Revelation 19, because after in verse, excuse me, I lost my place here. After verse 9, where the marriage supper of the Lamb is mentioned, right after that, there's a lot of destruction happening, once Yahusha, comes down. Mm-hmm. So we know when we know what's happening at that point. It's the day of the Lord.
Right. So essentially, the second Exodus, the marriage supper of the Lamb, happens after, clearly after we've been gathered, after we're in our land. He has judged the nations thus far, and then at this point, he is dealing with the people that come against us in Armageddon. If we read right here, I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, "Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the linen is the righteousness of saints. And he saith unto me, right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb." Okay, so we're going to be called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. "And he saith unto me, these are the true sayings of Yahuwah. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said to me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahusha. Worship Yahuwah. For the testimony of Yahusha is a spirit of prophecy." And then here we go. We see him, right? "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were a flame of fire. And on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahuwah. And the armies which are in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, right? And he shall rule with them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahuwah." And so, sorry, I'm gonna come out of here. And so, from what I can see, and I could totally be wrong, and I'm open to be wrong, that's what it looks like to me. So, does anyone have anything to add to that? Minister Jacoba, would you like to kick it off, and then we can go from there?
Yeah, I have my own theory about it, because when you look at the book of Revelation, we look at it and we compress it all in time, but a lot of that stuff is over time. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So like there may be a verse or two that's, let's say, for all practical purposes, happening now, but then the rest of the verses are 1,000 years from now. And so that's sort of the hard thing. So here's my theory on it, not saying I'm correct. Mm-hmm. I personally believe that the marriage supper of the Lamb probably happens when we go back to the land, because we see in Ezekiel 37 that a new heart is given them and a new spirit. And we see also in Revelation 19 that the Most High says that she has made herself ready, and it's the righteousness of the saints or the chosen. Mm-hmm. And so, I think, when she's back in the land, right, and God gets rid of the rebels, right, mm-hmm. Israel's never going into captivity again. Mm-hmm. Right. So there's in the scriptures, we see this synonymous connection between the land and the kingdom and the marriage, right? It's all synonymous. Like even when we see that symbology of the land of Jerusalem, when it says, where has her children been? Where has she been? And she's here now. And, so that's what I think. I think the marriage supper is going to be, it could be, let's say that, could be when we go back to the land, and some of the Gentiles are going to be invited to the wedding, right? Even though the wedding is between the nation of Israel and Yeshua.
Yep, and that is the opposite of what the church teaches, right?
Oh yeah,
The church teaches.
They got it twisted.
Yes, the church teaches that they marry Yahusha, and all the Old Testament saints, all the whole house of Israel, everybody, we just stand around and we watch them marry Yahusha. We're the guest, and they're the bride.
The whole thing was about the restoration of a people and restoring them to their God. I'm like,
right.
But you know, and that's that usurping, right?
Yeah.
And that boasting against the branch. But does anyone? And I appreciate your viewpoint.
Things definitely do, take place in different time periods, and as we were, because we were, really working through Revelation, and we noticed that too, that sometimes, as we look at a piece of prophecy, especially in Revelation, as John was seeing these things, we don't know for certain if they're, they might not even be in chronological order. He's just turning, and it appears to be that he's just trying to write down what he's seeing. A lot of things, do look like they're in succession, but we don't know the time period. Like I said, we don't know the time period between these events.
Right.
Yeah.
We will. I think
also notice that it does happen after the fall of Babylon, and we leave.
Yes, it does.
It does.
It does. So it's interesting.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
Oh no, finish what you were saying. I was just going to, chime in on the conversation.
Oh no, I was just going to say absolutely. From what we see, from a logical standpoint, it absolutely happens after we have come into to the land at some point, whether it be when Yahusha comes or whether it be like when we get there and we're all righteous. But where the key points that we do know is we're all righteous because the bride have made herself ready, and according to the Most High, you're not getting into the land unless you pass under that rod, right? So we're all righteous, and it's us that's being joined, to him. So, but go ahead, brother. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say in regarding the wedding feast is just a way to look at it too. Is that the wedding feast is just not like a one-time event, like how we get married in this Western society. You have a wedding and a reception, a party, whatever at the end, and then everybody go home. Then the bride and groom go on their honeymoon, do their own thing. But in other cultures, weddings last weeks.
Yeah.
So to highlight the comment on a wedding feast is that the whole 1,000-year reign is a wedding feast. And scripture to correlate what I'm speaking on is Matthew 26:29, when before he's finna go lay down his life, Yahushua lay down his life for us. He tell his disciples, "But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." So this in reference to his returning to his Father's kingdom, and we know his Father's kingdom is magnified in his 1,000-year reign, because it's the Father's kingdom, but the kingdom has been given to Yahusha. So the Exodus has to take place before Yahusha even returns.
Oh, absolutely.
Then when he does return, that's when the feast, because he's going to drink it new with us, which is he wished he could drink it then, but he said, I couldn't drink of this cup until I drink it anew, because now he had to go lay his life down for us. So yeah, go ahead.
Now, brother, I was going to ask you, I hear what you're saying, but how were you able to come to the conclusion that it's going to last the full 1,000 years?
Just in a spirit, of the matter, is that it's a wedding feast. So it's when the bride and the groom becomes one, right?
No, I understand that part, but I was just trying to see, how did you come to the conclusion that it's going to be the full 1,000 years, that it's going to be the wedding feast?
So maybe it could be.
Well, in a sense of like, don't take it in a literal sense, right? In the spiritual sense, is that the 1,000-year reign it's unlikened to the feast. where it's not just a one-time event where we feast together and he drinks of the cup with us, and then everybody go about their business in that sense, right? Just like I used the analogy of a wedding. You know, I've been to weddings before, and you go, you know, they go say they vows, then everybody drink party, and we go home, then they go through their honeymoon thing, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because African weddings, even some weddings in Jamaica, they do last like a week and things of that nature. So I see that part.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to get someone thinking that it's going to be for a full 1,000 years, because unless I could see that with another scripture backing it up, I don't want to get that. I don't want someone to come to that conclusion that it's going to be 1,000 year of partying.
No. Because the sense of partying, it's not the way we traditionally know, as we accustomed to in this society, right? It's the wedding feast is man, I can't. It's just like how we experience Passover, right? How we do a Passover, that feast. It's imagine that's a continuation of that feeling of being one with the Messiah, and the Messiah is one with you. We're all one together. It ain't where we're one together for a moment, then everybody go their separate ways. If that makes sense. I don't know if that's making any sense, but
what say you, Minister Yacoba?
What you saying? Oh, sister. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Dave.
I said, what say you, Minister Yacoba?
What about the length of the wedding?
Yes.
I mean, I really don't know. I mean, because, you know, we're talking about the ceremony itself. I think it's going to last for like a regular wedding, basically. And, you know, the interesting thing is, you know, I think it's Ezekiel 20, it talks about we're going to pass under the rod and then come into the bond of the covenant. That sounds like marriage to me.
Yeah,
right? And
that is true. That is true.
So when we look at the scriptures, we have these traditions and African traditions, and then we got these variation of the traditions. Like, for instance, in the African American and some African traditions, we jump the broom. And then, like in I think Trinidad, they do the limbo dance, right? And so, like when you read about passing under the rod, the Christian terminology is, the sheep pass under the rod, and you count them and make sure they're healthy and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, how does that make sense with the context of coming into the bond of the covenant? It seems more to me like a religious ceremony or marriage ceremony, and so when they come under the rod, I personally think it was an old tradition of part of the marriage ceremony, which is what it's about. Because remember, he's dealing with the rebels first. Yeah, they don't even get to go in the land, right? So what are we passing under a rod of correction, like Christians teach? I think it's but in Ezekiel 20 we see that we pass under the rod in order to come to the bond of the covenant. I think that's the marriage. But
okay. And that's a beautiful thing about getting together and pulling things apart and breaking it down and trying to figure certain things out together, and that's it's okay, you know what I mean, to do that. So I know Sister Shauna wanted to say something. Sister, what was it that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was, this is a very interesting topic, and by no means am I an expert in this at all, but I was just thinking about the fact that Yahushua's first miracle took place at a wedding.
It sure did.
That is, yes. Okay.
Sure
okay.
So he turned water into wine. And we know that represents his blood. We know that he is the new wine, right? So Ezekiel 20, like we were just talking about, discusses the purging of the rebels out from among us. And he says in the New Testament, I can't remember exactly where, but he says he's coming back for an ecclesia without spot or wrinkle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you kind of merge those two things together, purging of the rebels and the erasure of that sin nature so that we are purified, a bride is purified. So I'm thinking it has to be probably after the bride is purified.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because his earthly ministry started with that wedding. And so and he was a lamb then. Okay, he's coming back as a lion.
Right.
Mm-hmm. my thoughts is that the kingship of Yahusha upon the earth will take place after, obviously after Armageddon happens. That's when he's setting his authority on the earth. Mm-hmm. He's coming in like Isaiah 53. He's ruling the earth with a rod of iron. And my whole thing is that once the calamities have ceased, that's when we're going to see the purified bride, and she'll be ready to be wedded to her husband. So that's my thoughts on it.
Can I read something to y'all right quick?
Of course, of course.
So I use ChatGPT sometimes, right?
Okay.
And ChatGPT can like just pull it from anywhere. So this is interesting.
Okay.
It says, because I asked him, I said, does African weddings have a tradition of passing under a rod at the wedding? He says, yes, some African weddings have a tradition of passing under a rod or stick during the wedding ceremony. This practice is known by different names in different African cultures, such as jumping the broom in some parts of West Africa, or uwambo in some parts of South Africa. The rod or stick used in the ceremony is often decorated with ribbons or other ornaments, and is placed across the ground or held by two people. The couple then walks under the rod or stick, sometimes accompanied by traditional songs or prayers. The meaning behind this tradition varies among different African cultures, but it is often symbolized the couple's commitment to each other and their willingness to overcome obstacles together. In some cultures, it also represents a spiritual union between the couple and their ancestors or deities. It's worth noting that not all African weddings include this tradition, and even among those that do, the specific details and symbolisms may vary. So doesn't that give a different viewpoint of he gonna make us pass under the rod?
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Now the speculation, like
That sounds pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Because how many other things do we see in current and past African traditions that are in the Bible?
Yeah.
Ton of them.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I just want to be at the feast. It don't matter how long. I just want to be there.
Amen.
Amen to that. Hallelujah to that.
Yep. And something I wanted to pivot for a second, because I wanted to I really like this conversation. I really like the fact that this is I like this. We can just sit and chop it up about scripture and how we see things happening, and because I feel like as the closer we get to these prophecies being fulfilled, then it the picture clears up, right? And so but I love to talk about it, and but I wanted to pivot really quickly. Something that's been eating at me for a little bit. I'm going like all the way off left field. I wanted to talk about how California is they met, right, for a couple of days, talking about giving a number to give reparations to citizens or descendants of slaves, right? And how I saw one, it was in the millions. Then I saw one, I think it was like 5 million. Then I saw one that was like 360,000 per person, and there are a lot of people that, and it's of course it's mainly Gentile. You see some Hebrews expressing, the fact that they don't believe that we should get it, which is beyond me. But we see some Gentiles obviously expressing that, we shouldn't get it because we weren't slaves, or we shouldn't get it because our ancestors, if anybody's going to get it, it should be the people that did it, or But this is the thing. This is something that I have been thinking about. A comparison. Okay, so how when we'll just say typical family, right? Okay, so you have a couple of reasons why that's bogus, but you have a family, and we'll start with the grandparents, right? Grandparents work, right? And when they pass, everything that they've accumulated, they give down to the children, right? And then when those people pass, they give it to their children, right? And so to say that we don't deserve something because we didn't put the work in is the same as saying, and walk with me on this, is the same as saying, well, if your parents pass and they worked for that 401k, and they worked for that house, and they worked for all of that because you didn't work for it. It shouldn't get passed down to you. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you're saying, Sister Brandy, and I do finance, and I can tell you this: it's just jealousy and outrage, and then some of those people that look like us that's complaining about it, they may be aging, because it's a fact. If you have a 401k or you have any kind of retirement, if you pass, it automatically goes to your ancestor. I'm sorry, to your descendants.
Right.
Automatically goes to your next of kin, your descendant. And so usually when you do a life insurance policy, you put who you want to be the beneficiary. Mm-hmm. If that beneficiary passes, then you have a contingent beneficiary. So what they're doing, what they're saying is just out of sheer jealousy, and they feel like we're getting something for nothing. But they're not stopping and thinking of all the blood, sweat, and tears that these people has put in. In addition to that, we still have the domino effects of slavery. We see it every day. As a black man driving down the road, you see almost when you get pulled over, if the lights go on, your heart skips a beat. So we're still in it. So they are saying it because they can't see it from out of the eyes of us. And for other people, they may have not experienced it, because I know it's a 1 and 2 Black folks that have never experienced what we're talking about, so they speak as the Caucasians do. But if most people that have lived as a person of color, they've experienced it. Mm-hmm. And I'm that.
Yep, you know what kills? You remember that guy that came on here? I think we was on Karis, and the guy came on and talking about, do you think the black guy came on and said, do you think
that we deserve it?
Yeah, do we deserve it? And I, you know what? Out of all the stuff that I've heard in my lifetime, I didn't think there would be anything that I could hear that would shock the hell out of me. And when he said that, I'm like, this is a new kind of idiot.
Right. No,
I couldn't believe it.
That was on Yacoba's, Brother Yacoba's channel, and Sister Betty lit him up.
Yeah.
A lot of flack in the comment section. Okay, but you were being nice, right? But we got a lot of flack saying that we weren't being gentle enough with him, and the reality was that he was coming from a position of, he was trying to bait us.
Yeah.
He kept asking the same questions, even though we were answering it over and over again. He just didn't want to hear anyone's response. He was stuck in his mentality. But at the end of the day, that's why they were calling him an agent.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe that every Black person that says that, we don't deserve reparations is an agent. I believe that a lot of them are assimilated Negroes who have learned to adapt to and be successful in white society. My brother is one. My brother will be one of the first people to tell you that he don't believe that we deserve reparations. But he also adapted to white society very well. His children are mixed. That, in his mind, he's got a mental issue. Okay, but regardless, the point you made is excellent, Brandy, about what's left over from the will of the parent.
Thank you.
Our ancestors, I believe, would will that we reap all what they've sown.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, what are we reaping right now? Our society is so debaucherous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a sham. This is a ridiculous notion that the descendants of the enslaved are living as lascivious and as defiled and as impoverished as we are. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that has to do is because what we have inherited, what they've allowed us to inherit, is nothing but the same mindset. The change went from physical to mental. That's all they did. So now we need these mental shackles to be removed. And one of the ways they don't want it to be done is through giving reparations, because that is a tangible way to alleviate the oppressions off of the people. They don't want that. They want us to stay oppressed. So that's all it is. They want us to stay oppressed.
Listen. Here's something that I want to add to that. Just like how there is a generational curse and there are generational diseases, there's generational mental illnesses that were passed on to us.
Oh, absolutely.
All these different chemicals that are released when these poor slaves have been stressed. All of that stuff has been passed on to us. That's why some of us suffer from all kinds of anxiety
It's
and
in the
different
DNA.
Yes, it's in the
absolutely.
DNA. So just like how that is passed on, okay, that we are direct descendants of these people, so we do deserve reparation. In addition to that, if they can give funds to these people, these immigrants coming across the border, okay, they have nothing, they have no skin in the game. And they want to give, they were talking about giving those people coming across the border reparations and people from the Ukraine reparation, and they're sending all that money to Ukraine. What about people that actually built this country? They don't deserve something?
Right.
Listen, I don't see what the problem is. Put all them people that say we don't deserve, put all them in one group and give me their cut, and we can divvy that up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Y'all gotta take
it. So you're gonna eat your cornbread,
right?
Look, General, I usually tell people that too. I say, you don't want it, I'll take it.
Right.
For real.
I'm gonna take my biscuits and go around and sop up everybody else's gravy.
Right. Yeah, that's
but
the thing.
You know what I find with those people is that, you know, it's the idea of, once again, Eurocentric Christianity and the biblical understanding of the scriptures, because once again, Eurocentric Christianity says everybody the same, everybody equal, everybody get the same thing, right? But the Bible says that there's going to be a hierarchy and certain people are going to get certain things based upon what they did and what they didn't do. Some people are going to be judged and punished based upon what they did and didn't do. Absolutely. And so the law says that they have to reimburse the worker.
Yep.
For the time that they lost.
Except if you a Hebrew.
Except if you're a black person, right?
Right.
So look, and so, but here's the thing: you do it to them, they're gonna want their money right away. But when it comes to us, the rules change. See, they understand what the rules are. It's just that for us, it doesn't apply. Why? Because they're the one that owe us.
And think about this, Brother Yakova. All these billions of dollars that they're pumping into the Ukraine, if they would have swing that money back around and give that to us, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, so to say you don't have it, you know, that's,
They always never have it when it comes to us. But when it comes to other folks, people like in the Middle East, you know, the ones I'm talking about, wink, wink, they always seem to have it every year. And now for the people over there in this war-torn area, they seem to have it
down in the churches. We get shot down in the streets and couldn't even get a law passed for us. But the agents say, "Ooh, I got a little bobo," and they get a whole law passed for them.
Exactly.
They're not gonna give us anything to the Most High. Make them give it.
Exactly.
That's what Biden said when he was running for president. They asked him specifically about reparations. He talked about how it was going to be an influx of immigrants coming into the U.S. So he had already been prepared for what we see now, with all of these other nations coming in and benefiting off of what belongs to us. They already set it up that way. But that's why the Most High is going to turn them around, hold them by the ankles, and shake it all out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing, sister. You said it. You said it, right? They're going to be plundered, right? And so somebody's going to pay. You will pay. You may not. You may have your opinions. Oh well, I don't think they shouldn't. Well, it doesn't matter what you think, because it matters what the scriptures say, right? And so the scriptures say we're coming out with great substance, and so therefore, I truly believe, and I don't know if it's going to be cash, but I believe that according to Zechariah 8:23, when it says 10 take hold of one that is an Israelite and say that I hear that Yahuwah is with you, I will come with you. And when the scriptures say that they're going to be sold into our hands, I truly believe, and I could be wrong, but that's, this is how we speculate. I believe that they're going to sell themselves into our hands, meaning it's going to get so bad. They're going to be, look, I got $1,000. I got 100,000. I got 200,000 in the bank. Take me with you here. Oh, I feel like we're going to have to. Okay, if they're coming with us, they're joined to us, according to Zechariah. They take hold of us, right? And they're going to be our servants and handmaids. So essentially, I believe that we're going to have to vouch for them. Like, yes, they're with me.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I was thinking the same thing.
They're with me.
You're 100%
that they won't be able to get into Africa unless they got somebody black to vouch for them.
Right.
Exactly. And so what they're going to do, they're going to be pretty much putting themselves in indentured servitude.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of like, and the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun, because remember, when the people got hungry and they ran out of money in Egypt, when Joseph was running the whole show, they started selling themselves into servitude. So it's going to be the same thing.
Right.
Right. And Sister Talisha, it probably, I'm sorry, I didn't click something else. Probably won't mean anything, but the fact that the scriptures say that they are sold into our hands, there's going to be some type of currency that we are receiving from them. You know what I mean? And or unless, say that again, sweetheart.
Unless the currency.
I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get physical gold.
Say that one more time, sweetheart. I didn't.
Oh, I was just saying, unless that currency is their labor, but I do believe someone's handing us something on our way out.
Well, I don't know with things popping off at the rate it's at. By the time that we get to the point where that brightness comes down on us, and then they make the decision, because I see it in a succession, and I believe it's going to be a quick succession. I believe Isaiah 60, the glory is going to come down. Then Wisdom of Solomon, they're going to come to their are these the ones? And then they're going to, wow, okay, these are, or what do we do? Okay, we need to send them back. Then, well, we got to send them off with something. You know what I mean? And then, so I don't think they're going to have time to say, wait a minute, let me go get some gold. I'll be right back. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be so crazy and chaotic that people won't have Gentiles, because essentially all the Gentiles would have to go and get gold and be like, okay, here's some gold, take me. I don't.
The currency is not going to be worth anything. Remember, the dollar's not going to be worth anything.
Right.
So,
Sabians. So we're going to sell the Sabians. Right. That means the Sabians are going to pay us.
Oh, right. Okay.
I just have a feeling that it's going to be something that's going to be of substance, because it says we go out with great substance. Okay, the dollar is not going to have any substance to it when we're leaving out, so it has to be something that has great substance to it.
They can't. The fiat currency, we can't be redeemed. They can't. There's no reparations for the children of Yah in that. Like, you look at, if you got a bill, any bill on, you look at, it's their forefathers on the paper money. Like, it has no value to Yah in the kingdom to come, so the reparations, if they gave us a check right now, it'd be good, we could put some use to it, but overall, in a spiritual sense, they owe more than what they money can buy.
Not unless they crack open that Fort Knox or wherever they got our gold at.
Right. Hallelujah.
I don't know. I think we're gonna be coming through here swole, like.
That gold is
It's nothing in Fort Knox. Fort Knox is empty.
Yeah, I don't think they. How long has it been since they had gold? I thought it's been a while since they even carried gold.
Yeah,
it's been like
it's the illusion that it has something in value, but I seriously doubt if anything is in Fort Knox. If it is, going to be very little.
Yeah, but you know what? I will say the fact that, and I keep saying this because it's so prophetic, and so to the people that say that, one, we're not the people, and two, there's no 400-year prophecy or whatever the case, you got to understand that we hit 400 years in 2019, 2020, it all kicked off, and it has not stopped. It has not. We've been going at this rate since then, right? And at the same time, when we hit our 400 years, all of a sudden the conversation about reparations blew up. And according to the scriptures, what we're going to hit 400 years. The Most High is going to judge them, and then we're going to come out with great substance. So the fact that we hit 400 years and the judgment started, and the talk, not just the talk, but I mean, people are putting together panels or whatever the case they're doing to try to figure out how to get us reparations in certain states. That kicked off right after our 400 years. And here we are, fast forward, and even if it comes to naught, right? Because like Brother Quante was saying, they don't have they don't have the funds to pay us, whatever the case.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's something that we're also not focusing on too, is that other nations and other countries are talking about us. So I think it's going to be a world event that everybody's going to be coming, not only to take us home, but they're going to empty their coffers out too, because they're not going to want to deal with the good Lord and the kind of the. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I said they don't want to deal with the wrath of the Most High Yah.
Exactly.
Sure don't.
Y'all see the article?
But wait a second. We forgot to say, Sister Brandon, you said it, but it needs to be said correctly. Brother Yakoba, can you please just say it the way it's supposed to be said, please?
Oh,
hashtag ain't no 400-year prophecy.
There we go. There we go. Well, we're gonna get that. We're talking to Mr. Yakoba about getting that on some T-shirts.
Right.
And so he said he was going.
He's working on it. He's working on it.
That's how we're going to identify each other. We were like, okay. But so even the fact that the conversation kicked off and blew up after our 400 years denotes what? It denotes, first of all, we're the people. First of all, the prophecies are coming to pass. First of all, there is a 400-year prophecy. And then and then I said, first of all, like 3 times, y'all. And then it denotes the timing of our Exodus, right? Because again, 400 years, judgment, come out with great substance, right? And so the judgments are I mean, come on now. And
there's so many moving pieces in the judgment. There's lots of moving parts in the judge. It's like looking at some gears, and like the gears started as soon, as the 400 years was up, then we started to see the gears move, and one gear over here moves a gear up here and a gear down there. And that's just how it's been as far as prophetically, how things have been rolling out since then. Compounded.
Absolutely.
You get the emails from Teo Ministries. He has the one on there, like they mocking the South Park cartoon where they talking about, it's like that mockery. Now that y'all, it's like it's out in the bag. It's like, all right, let's just clown it and let's just kill it because we know everybody hearing it. It's that and that other one, that clip with the one girl talking and showing the map of the country and all the different spills and the water being poisoned. Right. She got everything in different colors and showing how it's just closing in. So those little articles be good though from your website, Yakoba.
Yep. And the thing
the same. I think it's the same. I don't know if it's the same thing I had sent to you, Brother Yakoba, that he's talking about. But this lady's talking about acid rain that's actually eating your skin off in some places. That's going to be coming through.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep, that's the one.
That was a hard video to watch, especially when she started talking about, the whole sadistic things that they're doing to children. And I'll be honest with y'all, like my mind has been probably for the last 6 or 7 months, the Ruach has just been impressing on me about this child sex trafficking. And it's a very serious thing. And it's even happening on island. Most of y'all may not be aware, but the whole Epstein Island thing it's right down the street from St. Thomas.
Oh, really? Yeah. That I did not know.
I didn't know that either.
So I mean, like this is very serious, and we just really need to lift up our children, our youth. We have children that are actually missing here on the island. I was in the store today, and my eyes right away went to a sign talking about child sex trafficking. I dreamed about it last night. So it's a very serious thing because it has to do with that whole Baal Molech worship.
Yes.
We know that spirit is released in the earth. We know that's the spirit that's contending against the Most High. So, we just got to be prayerful about this stuff and watch your babies. Like, I'm watching my babies like crazy, but I'm also praying over them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
For safety and protection, especially, if you're older and you have grandbabies and you got great grandbabies, pray for them too. But keep in mind that this whole sex trafficking thing, it's affecting children, but it's also affecting adults as well. Okay, yeah. Sex trafficking. So just be mindful of the areas that you're in. And pray that the Most High have angels guarding round about you and all that belongs to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now that cannibalism stuff, they got movies, series coming out. I seen one a while back with it was like a Hebrew girl, Gentile, they together and they going around, practicing cannibalism, like getting like that's the thing now. Like they're pushing that strong, like eating insects and all that nonsense, but that cannibalism, that's things that they were doing to our ancestors and all that, sacrificial stuff. Yeah, they pushing it. They pushing it.
Well, the scriptures talk about how they're going to eat their children, right? So that's the flipping of the curses, But I will say that, in Michigan, they have a very high rate of kidnapping, right? And I wanted to share an experience that I had that I'll never forget. Okay, so we lived probably about 10 minutes away from here, right? It was before we moved here, and I was pregnant with, was it Daniel?
It was Daniel.
I was pregnant with, it had to been 2009. I had Dan in 2019. So 2019. And one day I had went out to check the mail right in front of our home. DJ was in the house, right? And so I'm pregnant. Maybe it was warm out and I had my son, my youngest son in November. So it had to been maybe like midsummer, late summer. And I walked to the mailbox right at the front of the house. And as I'm walking to the mailbox, right, there's a guy that's pulling up, right, and he's in a van. It's not like one of those vans where it's like a white van, but it was a van. It reminded me of something like my uncle had back in the day. How you could used to like be able to lay in the back, like in the vans. I don't know, but so
a big van.
It was a big van. So I'm walking, right, and I want you to see my face. Hopefully you can see my face, but I'm walking and he's coming down our street, right? And then he slows down almost to a complete stop. And he's looking at me in my face. And when I tell you he's looking at me, he's not looking at me like checking me out like, oh, you look pretty. He's looking at me, right? And so I'm looking at him, right? And he's almost down to a complete stop. And then I believe it was the Most High. I believe he must have saw I was pregnant or so. Like I felt in that moment that he was going to get out of the van. You understand what I'm saying? Like something was about to happen. But I mean, I held my ground like he was looking at me like I was something that he wanted to eat. Like I was prey. You know what I'm saying? And so we locked eyes and we both mean mugging, right? And then he just kept going. He picked up speed. But I know it was the Most High that stopped him because I mean, DJ's in the house. I'm pregnant. I can't, I could try to run, but there's no one out there, right? There's no one outside. It's just me and him, right? And so after that, I was like, I am not going out there to check the mail by myself anymore. What if I would have sent my daughter out there? Go check the mail real quick.
Which we don't do.
No, we don't. But what if I had? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. It's crazy in Michigan. So
that kind of happened to me when I was a kid, and I was walking back from the store. And it was a white guy in a white work van, just kept following me, pulling up alongside of me, saying stuff to me. And I told him, I said, because he stopped, I was on my way into the house. And I told him, I said, you better go away and leave me alone. And he kept saying, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. And I'm like, I stay right here. I was going to run in the house. I was going to run in the house and get my stuff, come right back out there. I think I might have been like 12, 13 at the time. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I tell you this, the devil is real out here.
Yeah, it's vultures out here.
He sized me up. He was looking to try and snatch me.
Yep.
But I had that look on my face. I was watching the whole time. I'm like, I'm figuring out, what I'm going to do with your body parts after I'm finished.
Right.
I always had that mentality. But there's some sick people out here.
It is.
Yeah, straight up. It's no joke. So we just have
the sister said when your angel checked that devil, Sister Brandy, and it's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
He must have saw something in you that put the fear of Yah into him, and he said, let me leave this one alone. It's not worth it.
Oh, absolutely, because because of the fact that he was so slowed down almost to a complete stop, and we're looking at each other dead in the face, and then he just pulled off. And it's okay. That was the Most High. Most High saved my tail. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, a lot of people aren't don't make it out of those situations. And so, thank you, sister, for bringing bringing light to that. We should be praying for these children because, a lot of times things happen, and we say, "Oh, that's sad," and then we keep going. No, we need to be feeling this. We need to care. You know what I mean? Because it's someone's child, it's someone's sister, it's someone. You know what I mean? It could be us, it could be our children, and so we society has conditioned us to not care unless it hits your front door, and that's a lot. That happens a lot with America too. You know what I mean? Like what I talked about this as far as like, for instance, like the pre-trib rapture situation where things could be going terrible out in the world. You got 30,000-40,000 people dying. All this stuff happening. Thousands of people dying in floods, everything. But until the rapture is still going to happen because it hasn't reached your doorstep, right? So until you get touched, the Most High is not going to let anything happen to you, but the whole world can be in disarray and so on and so forth. So,
well, my prayer now when I pray, and I try to pray on a more consistent basis instead of just a few times. I pray a couple of times during the day, and my prayer is always to the people and His elect. I stopped praying for the whole world. I started praying specifically for the people that are His,
right,
and my family. And I pray that I'm counted as one of His sheep, and that's how my prayers change, because the whole world's not going to be saved. So, and this is just me personally. I'm not telling anyone else how to pray. I'm just saying, for me, I pray for the elect. I pray for my family, and I leave it at that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else anybody would like to say in regards to what Sister Ashana brought up?
Now you notice when I was a kid, we had kids on the back of milk cartons.
Yes.
And they don't have that anymore. I wonder why.
There's too many of them.
It'll be on every milk carton.
No, but when you go in the store, you see like a whole wall. Because I know when you go in Walmart, it's a whole wall of it. And I do stop and I look sometimes, and I feel very sad about it. I stop and I look because the Walmart's by me. It's either like when you're walking in, it's like a whole wall full of missing kids and even adults. And then certain times when you go further down, it's like a whole wall of people.
They still, the last time
they did. They still do at the Walmart that
do it down
Harbor.
The street.
Yep, in Benton Harbor, they still have that wall. They had one in Hardings in Berrien Springs.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did.
Well, if you've paid attention, like I monitor a lot of the kidnappings and stuff that's going on, and it's a sheriff that actually comes on, and he talks about the rings that they've been breaking up, some with police officers, sheriffs, teachers, that have been trafficking kids.
Yep. Yeah.
And they're special task force that are actually, making some headway into trying to stop this stuff. But it's a worldwide thing, and it's just ridiculous. Now, what's her face that was on Epstein's Island? She was not only was she a pilot, but she was also a submarine pilot too. So they were trafficking kids through they were getting into a submarine and trafficking them from island to island.
Yeah,
and it just so happens that Biden actually owns an island out there.
Yeah, it's sick.
Mm-hmm. Be careful who y'all put in office.
Right.
I don't touch none of them. None of them. Look, ain't got nothing to do with us. As far as I ain't putting my name or my vote, to anybody. You know what I mean?
I always, you know what I say? You show me a poor politician, I'll show you an honest politician. That's what I.
Correct.
Family, I just want to tell you, I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm gonna have to drop off, and just we just gotta keep trusting in the Most High Yahuwah every day. Like I told my children today, we had devotion every day, and I tell them, I said, every day that you wake up, you should be trying to see how you can draw nearer to the Most High Yahuwah and being made more like Him. So I just want to encourage all of y'all that that's what we have to do in this day and this time. And the more we're made like Him, the less there is to be afraid of. Why? Because He didn't give us a spirit of fear. And we know at the end of the day, we know who wins. So
Hallelujah.
Absolutely.
Hallelujah.
Absolutely. Amen to that. And thank you, sister, for coming on. It is really a blessing and an honor. Thank you for coming.
It's really cool. It's really cool that you came on.
Baby for me.
Absolutely. Zion over here talking like, get off the line, mama.
Right. I need you, mama. I need you. All right. Y'all have a good night. Be blessed. Peace and blessings to you, sister.
What about the Walmarts closing down?
Yeah, someone had just said that. DJ was talking about this the other night.
Well, they've been closing these Walmarts down. Remember, like back in 2015 or something like that.
Right.
Maybe a little bit in 2017, they were closing down these things and they were converting them or repurposing them into what looks to be FEMA camps. You had some bold people. Who drove up next to the closed down Walmarts and see that they had put barbed wire up along the side. They had some key card entry things.
Yep.
It was like a full blown FEMA camp,
detention center, right?
Detention center. And I think it's catching attention now when people have forgotten about that. How our minds are these days. We just forget.
But Brother DJ, it's not that we forget. It's what they do. They cause us to be. They keep distracting us. It's a magic trick. It's like pharmakia, because what they do is they distract you. They put something on that's so jarring that you forget about this and you start focusing on that, and then before you can even finish focusing on that, you have another big incident over here. So they just keep us on a roller coaster, and this is the reason why, as Sister Shonda said, we have to stay on our knees, man, because we can't let this thing rattle us, because it's all the plan of the enemy to keep us rattled, keep us just stressing. We have to remember who we serve and just continue to move forward with that.
Yeah.
Right. And just remember how much has happened just within the past 3 years. Now, if you go back a couple more years, we might forget those things. We're not forget, but we've been, we've been worked on so much, and these people who own and direct the, media outlets have, dug so deep in our trauma response. Hebrews and Europeans or Gentiles. There's so much, like we mentioned before, weird stuff like those monoliths popping up out of nowhere, the weird black things that they see in that movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, popping up everywhere, like it was a movie or something.
Yeah, testimony.
Just all kinds of things, that they're confident they can, distract us enough to forget,
But I do believe that they're shutting. I believe they are shutting down more Walmarts. I will say,
I have heard about them more shutting down.
And it's not a fear thing. Like I saw, for instance, in Portland, I think it was, they shut down the only 2 Walmarts in the city.
Yeah.
So
wow.
If there's no other, and people are like, well, where I have to go travel, to or use the local grocery store that is very expensive. And I do believe that. Look, in order to make it in Babylon, you got to be down with Lucifer, right? Meaning like these big companies, right? Walmarts
I agree.
And so I do believe they're shutting down those Walmarts to repurpose them for holding. But this is the thing. Whose captivity is approaching, right? This ain't got nothing to do with it.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Right.
We're going to leave.
We're just watching it happen, and
Right.
There was something else happening in the Walmarts. Remember, they had them sensors on the.
They had sensors over the freezer doors, right? They newly installed
And
sensors.
all kinds of
And
sensors.
someone had posted a video and said if it doesn't go beep boop, then the doors won't open. Well, this is the thing. The marker's going to be in what? The right hand and in the forehead, right? So if you walk up to something and it beep boops, and then the door opens, right? And so all this stuff it's for their captivity. So I mean, we should expect to see things being set up for that, because according to scripture, that's going to take place.
And just be encouraged that it's all happening so fast. Like
so no fear.
More is happening than what we can even
no fear.
really keep up with.
Yeah.
I to be honest with you, when something major don't pop off, I feel a little bit let down.
Right.
Yeah. But have you guys heard about I think it was a shooting in
Germany,
Hamburg, Germany? Yeah.
Yep.
A shooting. Yep.
Yeah, that's the second Witness Kingdom Hall, because it was Jehovah Witness Kingdom Hall. It was another one. Wow. Just maybe a month or two ago, there was another shooting. A man came into somewhere in the States. Went into a Jehovah's Witness hall. I believe he killed someone and killed himself. But yeah, and in Germany, this guy, or I don't know if it was guys, I'm not quite sure, if more than one, but they went into a Kingdom Hall and killed 6 people, right, and injured other people. So this is the thing, okay? So y'all know how we would go to our places of worship and they come in and shoot us down and so on and so forth. Well, the same things are happening. All the curses are going to flip. When it said we won't have assurance of our life,
there's a lot of Hebrews.
Yeah, but not in Germany.
Oh, in Germany.
Yeah.
Right.
And we won't have assurance, we don't know what's going to happen to us, right? You can have somebody, a Gentile, walk into your place of worship during your Bible study, and next thing you know, you don't make it out. Now it's flipping, because I seen in California, was it at the church? It was the Asian guy that shot people up at a church. I seen somewhere else it was Gentiles.
I believe. Asian.
Yeah. Gentiles got shot up at a church. Another, and these were Europeans, at another church, right? And this has been happening last year. I noticed that. Why are these Gentiles getting shot up at their churches?
Yeah.
And it's because it's going to flip.
It's just like Uvalde too. They were nothing but Gentiles in those schools.
And so
they're going into ghettos too, called 15-minute cities.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. You know what I mean? And so,
it's nothing but Agenda 21.
Yeah,
it's all the same. That's their whole plan is Agenda 21, and then now they're fully implementing it now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can expect to see these things if the Most High said He's going to judge them. If He said the curses, all these curses I'm going to put on your enemy. I'm going to gather you. All these curses I'm going to put on your enemies. We should be seeing that, and we are.
And we can see how that translates to today, because when our ancestors, and not even, it's hard to call, great grandparents ancestors, but they are ancestors, such a short time ago. But, just a short time ago, they were going through, and we still go through, some of the curses, if not, all of them, depending on, where we are in our situation. We can see how that translates to today, and as far as the Gentiles judgment goes, it might not be a mass shooting, it might have not been the same kind of caliber of shooting, back in the 20s or the 1910s or 1886 than as it is in 2021. It's a whole different kind of thing.
Yeah.
Brother DJ, it's happening even on the continent, because I was watching this thing on Brother Yakoba's channel on YouTube about this young lady that she was talking about being in the store, and this older black gentleman. I don't know if you guys saw it, and he must have said something. This one Gentile in the whole store, and no, she said something to him, and it set him off, and he just started cussing her out, because and it was all black people there. She was the only white person. He said that she said that this woman was as quiet as a mouse until after he left, but he just went in on her hardcore. And it's like it's something that he was holding up for a long time, and he just, because he was an older gentleman, she said he was in his 70s or something to that effect, and he just went off on her. So I said all that to say this is part of the things that would happen to us, because he was telling her to go back where she came from, because he said I came 10,000 miles to get away from you, and you're still, you need to go back to where you came from. And that's the stuff that even me, as a Jamaican coming to America, I used to hear that all the time. You need to go back to Africa. And I was like, but I'm not from Africa. And I used to hear that all the time, you know, and it used to make me feel so bad. So, as you said, the curses are going to be flipped around now.
Yeah, that was over in Africa, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
It was a black woman that was over there that, you know, that she was actually from here, and she was narrating a story.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Her name is African Superstar.
Right.
Yes.
You know what's crazy to me though? Like last night, Pastor Kelly was on, and he was dealing with an issue that you feel like it's not even an issue, but you got people teaching like some crazy stuff, and he's like Mr. Yacoba said, he was on with him last night, and he's like, you know, with all the stuff that's going down between China, Russia, and everything that we got to deal with, you still dealing with people that are teaching these strange, you know, like the every winter doctrine. Like it was like, do you have to worship Yahusha? Like, you know, he did a whole lesson about it. Like, should we worship him or not? And like, you're dealing with things like that in a time like this. It's like, we already got so much going on, you know, 10 toes down. You need to be ready for what's going on. And you got people still coming with that type of stuff, misleading people, you know, leading people straight to the pit. Like, it's just crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would see, going back to what, something that Brother Oral had said about the guy said he had went all that way to get away from her, right? Mm-hmm. She needs to go back
10,000 miles away to get away from her.
Well, I've been seeing other people, not us, but like was it a Hispanic? No, it was a Native American yelling at a white woman, calling her colonizer.
Right, I saw that too.
Yeah, I've been seeing. I've seen another one recently, and I can't remember who it was. That was like, I don't know. She was they're walking through the forest or something, and she said something about the white lady said, "You need to go back to where you're from." She said, "Where are you from? Like, you're not from here, you know." Right. You know what I mean? Like, you need to go back to where this is not your country.
That's persecution.
I never thought that I would see other nations calling white people colonizers. Right. Never thought it. But we're at the time where they have bywords now, right? We had bywords. Right. Flip. We got bywords, right?
Right.
Yep.
And so, y'all, can we go now? Please. But we want to go ahead and get final comments here real quick. We have enjoyed this. This was a very good conversation, and I appreciate the just kind of kicking it, talking about all the stuff that we don't know about since we're babies. So. But
I ain't all the way a bit.
Right.
I'm younger. I'm younger. But...
You just say, "Nah, don't put that on me, Randy."
Right.
Yeah, I got 2 years on you.
Yeah, he does have 2 years. I feel like I'm with the older man, y'all. But Brother Dave, is there anything you would like to say? Final comments for you?
No, I just thank you for having us on the panel. I love these Freestyle Fridays. I just want to thank the chat. Thanks for having us on here. Keep your head on the swivel. That's what I always say. Keep your head on the swivel, and it won't be long now.
Right on.
Right. Peace out. Love y'all.
Love you, Brother Dave. Have a good Shabbat.
You too. All right.
All right. Brother Quante, anything you would like to say? Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, you got it right. You got it.
Okay. Anything that you would like to say? And thank you for a first time coming on. Yeah, you're welcome back anytime you want to come on. So
yeah, thanks for having me. I was excited when I came across your channel. And then I seen this Freestyle Friday, and I inboxed you on Facebook, and we start kicking in. And it's like, yeah, let me join in on the conversations, because I'm like, I don't normally do this. But the Father he's connecting the dots.
Yeah.
He's the greatest chess master, so he's moving his people in place. And it won't be long. I know I shared my dream with you. Mm-hmm. And the Father, he spoke to me. He showed me that for a reason. and and why he showed me it don't fully make sense, but it's making more sense as the time approaches. So I just got to walk in that calling, in that testimony, because it's happening and I'm noticing the whole house of Israel, those that are awakened are waiting, right? They're in this position of waiting on Yahuwah. And just today I was meditating with the Father, and it was like he kept saying, like, when I did this, how did I do it? When I did this, how did I, like, when it was the flood, how did I save the people? When the Sodom and Gomorrah was being destroyed, how did I save the people? And it's always a person Yahuwah is working through. Like, we've been, in the Christianity doctrine, everything is like angelic. Everything is, I die, I go to heaven, and everything is just supernatural type of way of thinking. But Yah makes it plain is when I delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt, I spoke to Moses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when he said, don't follow them when they say, well, he's in the wilderness or he's over here, he said, no, the kingdom is within. So the kingdom be within, and it's like the kingdom grows within individuals, different time levels. So some might grow a little faster, some grow a little slower, but once that kingdom has reached its full potential within that individual, the Father worketh through that, because now we are the temple of the living Elohim. So yeah, I'm just excited, and it's so much more to come in a short period of time. The campaign to Exodus has started, and the government, it's a government thing. So we're dealing with a real government here. And I'm not gonna keep rambling, but man, I'm just really, really excited, and I'm glad to be on this panel with everyone. Brother, I'm in Florida too. I know you mentioned something about Florida. I don't know what part of Florida you in, but
I'm in Leesburg. Where are you, brother?
I'm in Polk County. Where you said?
What town there?
Winter Haven.
Okay, I know Winter Haven. Okay, you're not too far from me.
Oh, all right. That's what's up. Yeah, the Father. I'm originally from New York. The Father told me to leave New York and come down here.
Man, I know all about New York, man. I was in 9/11, so yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he told me to get by that water. Get by that water. The ships, they're gonna load the coastlines. The plane is gonna be a beautiful sight.
Yep. Amen. Well, thank you, Brother Quante, for sharing that. And yeah, you're welcome anytime to come on. And when we have more time, maybe next time you can share your dream, right? So we're here. Fridays, we're here. But Shabbat Shalom to you, brother. Hope you and your family have a great Shabbat. And we'll see you next time.
Shalom.
Shalom. General Warman, brother.
Sister, thanks for having me on, DJ.
Absolutely.
Be back.
Yeah.
I hope y'all enjoy your Shabbat. Get y'all rest. Stay prayed up. Like Brother Dave said, keep your head on the swivel. And just trust in the Most High, man, and cleave to Him, and strive for holiness, and just follow what He tell you to do, man. And don't fear, don't worry. He got it all. Over and over again, I read the Word more than I ever had in, I guess, the last year or so. And He always come through. He stayed true to His Word. Even in my life, He stayed true to everything He say. He's just going to do it the way He do it in His time. So, sometimes, we jump ahead and you can mess up by jumping ahead. So just wait on Him. Shabbat to all of y'all. Have enjoyed y'all Shabbat. And I'll see y'all on the next.
Yeah, man. Wise words. Wise words, for real.
Brother, General Warman, nice chatting with you, brother.
All right, Brother Oral. Slow down, all right? Slow down.
Stop it. Don't even start.
Shabbat Shalom, General Warman, and peace and blessings to you and your family as well.
All right. Keep coming out.
All right. You're welcome.
Minister Yacoba.
No, Sister Brandy, something? I want to give the honor to the brother Yacoba to have the last word here, because he is an elder and he knows a lot more. I'm just learning from him. So I'll say a few words and then I'll listen to him.
Absolutely.
If that's okay with you guys. I mean, this is your show.
Absolutely.
Yes, as usual, I look forward to these opportunities just to speak with the family and just share what the Most High has impressed me to do, to say, I should say, and just to look at the chat and see what the family is saying, and just to continue to sharpen each other, because that's what it's all about. In these last days, we're gonna have to stay prayed up, and part of having our head on the swivel is like seeing what's going on, because we need to know what's going on, because we all know when the proverbial what hit the fan.
Right.
They're not gonna tell us, so we have to be abreast of what's going on. The Most High he does give us discernment, but he also gives us a mind to go and seek things. Faith without works are dead. So we have to continue to look to each other, continue to sharpen and encourage each other. And I'll rest on that. And thank you guys so much for having me. And have a wonderful Shabbat.
You have a wonderful
Absolutely,
Shabbat as well, and thank you for that. And real quick before you go, I want to say that a lot of the church nowadays, they don't touch on, they don't pay attention to what's going on around them, right? They ignore it, and so that's good advice, because ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance will get you killed. You know what I mean? And so, I appreciate that word from you. But you have a wonderful Shabbat as well. It's always good having you on. I always look forward to talking to you. So,
and I'm gonna email you something.
All right, cool. I was just about to say, DJ, I'm gonna call you this week too. I was just about to say that to you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no doubt, definitely.
All right, brother.
All right, brother Oral.
Always a pleasure.
All right, take care.
All right, brother, Minister Yakoba. It was real fun. I mean, when I sent you that email and you sent me that when I sent you that thing and you sent me the laughing and the emojis, I knew you were laughing, and that made me laugh so loud. All right, brother. It's always a pleasure listening to you.
All right, Oral. See you later.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to say, it's a great fellowshipping with you all. It's great to have people who are what they call Messianic Israelites and not campish and dealing with the 12 tribe chart lies and stuff like that. So people who you have things in common with, because in the beginning it wasn't that way,
right?
And we've had a lot of fights, but it looks like that fighting is over. I think we won. I think everybody know who we are.
Yeah,
and I think there's no doubt. They might ignore it, but there's no doubt. And so, one of the things I want to add with these last days and the things that we see is, I find myself going through sometime, but I always land back on track, is that you see all of these things and, you be like, Father, don't you see all this happening, right?
Right. All right now.
Yeah, it's getting close to midnight, right?
Right.
Can we go home now?
Right.
But a lot of times the Most High tell me, he say, yeah, you see all these things. He said, you see the talk of wars and rumors of wars. You see the earthquakes, pestilence. You see that I've awakened you. You've seen that they're destroying their own nation. You're seeing Babylon going down. And he's like, I did all of this. I told you all of this. He says, what did I tell you? He says, I tell you all of this before it happened so that you might believe. And so, we know he's coming for us. Now, how that manifests, we don't know. But we know we're going home. So I want to thank y'all. I love fellowshipping with you all. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending.
Love you.
Let me know how things go when y'all died.
Right. You know what? I want to say really, really quickly before you go, Minister Yakoba. This every time we talk to you, I kid you not, it still blows my mind, because I tell you, I remember when we first found out who we were, and I was looking and reading the scriptures, and I said, wait a minute, it looks like we go back before Yahusha comes. And I'm like, okay, like I said before, I said, I'm not trusting I don't know. I've been deceived before. Like, am I tripping? And then I was like, let me get on YouTube. Let me just, and I'm not saying that's the route to go, but I just am I the only one that sees this? Am I only, and I went to look, and I came across you. And this was what 2000 and
either early
2020
or 2019.
And then when I heard the first message, I heard you because I was listening close. I'm like, Okay, I don't hear nothing about no aliens, and I'm like, okay. Then all right, he seems like he knows what he's talking about. Okay, I'll listen some more, right? And then I listen some more, and then next thing you know, we're tuning in every time. So it blows my mind that someone that the Most High used to be so like instrumental in our awakening, we're sitting in and
kicking it with,
yeah, breaking bread with, essentially, you know what I mean? It's a blessing. You are a blessing to the community. Like, you are, the Most High has used you and Minister Tayu on such, like, it's bananas. It's
all praise to the Most High.
All praise to the Most High. Y'all are called. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to I know you don't like titles, but you know what I mean. But
we're not going.
But look, if the shoe fits,
the appreciation is
right. It blows my mind
across the entire. At least as far as the like you said, the Messianic
Most High
Hebrews.
Yeah.
Where most of the heat is, I'll say, as far as information and validation and receipts. We got most of the things. You've been pretty instrumental, along with another group of with a number of channels, all coinciding, and differences here and there, but
straight up, it's a blessing to be able to speak to you. You know what I mean? The Most High has definitely, man, you hats off to you, because you've been putting in that work, and
I'm glad that we can be a blessing, because a lot of times, y'all been around a while, y'all know how weary it gets with the fight. But it's good to have people who are like mind and who love the Most High, and that's what I've really been enjoying lately, is people who are focused on Yeshua only. They're not into religion and trying to one up and be seen. It's about serving the Most High and His people. And that's what's a blessing. And I look forward to when we get back in the land and we all hanging and talking about these days and how the Most High pulled us through and stuff like that. I can't wait. Right. I can't wait. And not having the enemy on our back every day.
Right. He ain't gonna be able to touch us, according to Revelation 12. He ain't gonna be able to get to us. So I look forward to it, and I'm so glad. In the beginning, I could not tell you and Mrs. Tayu apart. I tell you now. I said, "Wait a minute, is that a second person?" I said, "Wait a minute, are that two different people?"
Yeah, I was like, "Man, you sound different today." I don't know.
Y'all didn't say I was talking to myself, did you?
No. I was like, "Hold on now."
I have people say he talking to himself. That's him. He talking to himself.
No, but then I heard someone. It might have been you, or someone mentioned twins, and I said, "Oh, that's what it is." Yeah. So shout out to Minister Tayu. Shout out to you, Minister Tayu, for all the work that you have put in as well, and shout out to everyone for all the work that have put in, all the fights. Y'all been in the thick of it. And I always say we're at the end of this thing. Like, the fights have been had. The proof has been on the table, put on the table. There's nothing to fight about now, right?
Exactly.
Accept it. And you can either join us on this Exodus if you're a Gentile, or if you've been fighting against us.
You can join that judgment.
He said you could join that judgment. Or if you're a Hebrew and you've been fighting against this, you're going to get on that boat. You're going to get on the boat one way or the other. You might get on it with your head down, or, whatever the case. But the work is done. The judgments are here.
Yeah,
everything is full force. Now we're just literally waiting on the Most High to say, get on the boat. We're waiting on the boats to show up, like the plane showed up to take our brothers and sisters back to their home. Right, that just happened. Yeah. That's prophetic. It absolutely. We got next. So I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody in the chat. I love y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you for everybody that was on the panel today. I really appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We just I always say we just regular people just coming together to just talk, and if the Most High brings something out, then all praises to the Most High. But we love you all.
All right, love y'all and keep doing what you do. Cause
love you too, Mr. Jacoby. Yeah, I'll let
Have
you
a
know.
good one. Have a good one.
We'll see what happens. I might make some butternut squash soup tomorrow. We'll see what happens. We'll try to.
Y'all gonna get used to it.
Yeah. We will.
All right, peace out. Love y'all.
All right, peace
All
out.
right.
Love you too.
Take it
Love
easy.
you too. Take care, everybody. Hope y'all have a great Shabbat. And yeah, look, we'll see what happens next week, y'all. We we don't
stay
know.
tuned?
All right, let's stay tuned, y'all.
Stay tuned.
Let's stay tuned. But
Right.
y'all have a blessed day. And brother Nas Yehudi, if you in the building, I don't know if you caught it.
Yeah,
but
we got
your shirts on, brother. So hey. So peace and blessings to you, brother. So
I just had to pause.
Right. But y'all take care. All right. Love y'all.
Take it easy, family.